So we are working on slope-intercept form, which is probably my favorite thing that we've done thus far. So first things first, a couple of definitions. So a parent function is the simplest form of a function. Okay, so there are no other numbers in there. It's just your x squared, x to the third. It's whatever the parent function is, where nothing has moved the graph at all. So the linear parent function, where it's a line, is y equals x. No numbers, nothing being added, nothing being multiplied, that's it. So a linear equation is one that models after a linear function, and then a y-intercept of the graph is the y-coordinate of a point where the graph crosses the y-axis. So if we just write our generic slope-intercept form, you guys actually don't have this written on your paper, but I need you to. So your slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b. It's everyone's favorite one to remember. So if we label what's going on here, we're going to say that your m is your slope, and your b is something called your y-intercept, which we just went over in this purple point right here. So that's where your graph crosses the y-axis. Okay? So we are going to move on, and we're going to actually put this into practice. Okay? So example 1, it says, what are the slope and y-intercept of the graph of 5x, y equals 5x minus 2? So again, we know that our original equation for slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So if I write this equation right underneath of it, it's all going to line up perfectly. The number that's multiplied to my x is my slope. So we can say that slope, which is m, equals 5. This equals my slope right here. And then my y-intercept is this b value. So my y-intercept, which is b, equals negative 2. That negative is really important because in my original equation it's a plus, so anything that's negative has to be carried with it, okay? So my slope is 5 and my y-intercept is negative 2. So I want you guys to try the next one on your own. You're going to do the same exact thing. So next up, example 2. It says, what is the equation of the line with a slope of negative 4/5 and a y-intercept of 7? So again, we're just going to write our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So in my problem, it says that my slope is negative 4/5. So my m is negative 4/5, and my y-intercept is 7. So b equals 7. So now what I'm going to do is plug in m for m and plug in b for b. So my answer is y equals negative 4/5 x plus 7. And that is your equation in slope-intercept form. So you guys are going to try that one on your own as well. So next up, it wants us to write the equation of the line that's shown here. So we know we need our slope, and we know that we need our y-intercept. So right away, the y-intercept, this is what shows you where the y-intercept. So here's your y-axis. This is where my line is crossing, and it's a crossing at negative 2. So my b equals negative 2. So now we're going to calculate the slope. Now you can choose 2 points on your line to calculate the slope with the slope formula, or you can count rise over run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this point, this y-intercept, and I'm going to go to this point right here. I like it because it's on the corner of one of the, where my grid lines cross. So I rise first, so I'm going up 1, and I'm going up 2. So my slope is positive 2 over. Now I only need to move 1 unit over to the right, which is positive, so positive 1. So 2 divided by 1 is 2. Now I can put it all together. Y equals 2x minus 2. This was your m, and this was your b. All right, there we go. So we have one more problem to do, actually two more problems to do. So I want you guys to try, nope, we're going on to the next one together. So this next problem over here is asking us to write an equation in slope-intercept form that represents the line that passes through 2, 1 and 5, negative 8. So we don't have a slope or a y-intercept right now. So first we need to find the slope. So we're going to use that slope formula where it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here we get negative 8 minus 1 divided by 5 minus 2. So negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9 divided by 5 minus 2, which is 3. And this simplifies to negative 3. So I'm going to plug this in even though we don't know our b yet or our y-intercept. So we get y equals negative 3x plus b. Now we need to find what b is to make this equation complete. So what I'm going to do is use one of the two coordinate points that I'm given in the problem. Now I like to deal with the smaller numbers, the not negative numbers, so I'm picking 2, 1. It will still work if you pick 5, negative 8. So I'm going to plug in what I know. So y is 1 in my equation, or in the point that I'm given. So I plug in 1 equals negative 3 times x. Now x is 2 plus b. Okay? So now I'm going to simplify up here. So I get 1 equals negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 plus b. Now in order to get b alone, we add 6 to both sides. And we get that b is 7. Now, I can plug in this b equals 7 into my original equation. So I get that y equals negative 3x plus 7. And that's my equation in slope-intercept form. I know that one was a little bit more involved, but I want you to try the next one on your own. So the first thing you need to do is find the slope like we did up here. Plug the slope into your generic formula, and then plug in one point of your choice for x and y to find what b is, and then put it all together. Okay? I have one more for you, and this is graphing. So what we are asked to do in this case is to use the information that's given in this equation in slope-intercept form to graph. Now, we don't need to make a table. When it's written like this, we know that this is our y-intercept, and this is our slope, m. Okay? So the first thing I like to do is graph the y-intercept. So that means that it's hitting my y-axis, so my vertical axis at negative 1, which is right there. Okay? So my slope being 2, if I write that in a fraction, it's 2 over 1, which means up 2 to the right 1, because they're both positive. So if I go up 2, I'm here, and if I go to the right 1, I'm right here. We can continue that pattern. Up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1. And if I continue the pattern, I'm going to go down 2 to the left 1. Down 2 to the left 1. Now, we want to connect this line. Please do not make fun of me. It's very difficult on this board. Oh, that's horrible. Let's see if I can pull up the toolbar. Yes, okay. So what I want to do is just graph a line. Okay? So a line that goes through all of the points. And we want to put, we want to just put arrows on the end because it goes on indefinitely. Although it's not letting me. So we're just going to use these lines for that. Okay? And you guys are going to try the next one on your own, and you already have a graph written. Hope you guys liked that. It's one of my favorite things so far.